Welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about how to create a campaign for yourself for sponsored products in 2023. So let's dive into this. So first thing you'll notice here, you've got sponsored products, sponsored brands, and sponsored display. You're only going to have the option for sponsored product unless you have brand registry enabled, and then which you will be able to add your sponsored brand and sponsored display if you've got 3 or more branded products. But the most common one is the sponsored product, so that's what we're going to focus on today. So the first of all, when you come to campaigns, you can click on create campaign and you'll come down to here. Now, we're not going to talk about portfolio creation or anything like that, although that is absolutely vital and really key and really vital that you have that so that your campaigns are organized. I'll do that in a future video. What we're going to do is focus on sponsored products today, actually focusing on creating your first campaign. So once you click into the campaign, you're going to come to this section here, and this section here is going to show you the ad group settings. Okay, so you want to create a name, and once again, I mentioned earlier, you want this organized. You don't want it to be all over the place, so ideally you want you want to put these into portfolios, and then within your portfolios you're going to have multiple campaigns, and within the campaigns you're going to have ad group names. So this ad group name is very important to make sure that you don't lose the campaign. So what you would do is name this, for example, without going into too much detail, I would make sure that I name it something similar to my product. Okay, so let's say we're launching a baby cloth, for example. I would do BC, and then I would say if it is a auto, okay, main campaign, or for example, if it is your main keywords and they're high search volume, I would do BC, standing for our product, so we know what it is, and then we would do high search terms. And then we would do whether it is exact, broad, or phrase. So let's say if exact, I would put E, something like that, just so that you understand what individual each campaign is. But that's more advanced stuff we'll go into in a later video. So the first thing you don't want to do is name your ad group, so otherwise this can get really confusing and really messy all over the place. The next thing you need to do is select the product that you want to target. So let's say, for example, it's this one here that we want to target, so we click on that there, or what you can do is enter your list there or upload the list. But most of the time what you'll do is just scroll here and have a little ad here as into what product you want to add. The next thing you want to do is targeting. Okay, so there's a difference. You've got automatic targeting and then you've got manual targeting, both with different options. The automatic targeting, a lot of the time for private label type stuff or bundles or creating your own listings, that's what you can use on a launch strategy, just so that you have a good idea as into whether that product is actually, if you can find other keywords within that. It's not necessarily a long-term strategy I would use, with high budgets, because it can eat up the budget. It's more of a discovery campaign in the launch phase, although you can use them with small budgets moving forward for arbitrage and wholesale and stuff like that. Let me know in the comments if you want me to explain that. But as we're talking about sort of private label type stuff here, or unique bundles, or creating your own listings, I would usually avoid that unless it was in the launch phase. Okay, but so we can do automatic, you can pick that, or we can click on manual targeting. For the example of this video, let's do automatic targeting here. So what you'll also find here is the keyword targeting or the product targeting. Okay, now with the keyword targeting, what this means is the list that you type in there, you're going to get a suggested list here for broad, phrase, and exact. Let me explain what this means. This is the Amazon suggestions. Okay, at this point we have no idea what the search volume for or the competition is for all these search terms, so I would not advise using these unless they're keywords that you know are good for you. I would use Helium 10, or I would use Jungle Scout, whatever one you use currently, etc. And I would actually use Cerebro or Jungle Scout equivalents of the search terms to actually find the keywords that match your criteria for, lowest competition possible, and then enough search volume to actually hopefully get some sales onto your product. Once you've assessed that, I would click enter list there, and I would enter them keywords in here. Once you click add keywords, it's going to give you the option after that to select a bid. Okay, so let's say, for example, baby cloth. Let's see if that comes up. Baby cloths, click add keyword. It's going to give you an option right there. Once it gives you that option, it will then give you an option to select the bid. I sometimes just leave the bid as the suggested bid, come back, see how it goes, okay, see what the results are like, okay, and then adjust accordingly. I'm not going to go into any more advanced stuff about that in this video because it will get confusing. This is just about creating it initially, but as a quick brief summary, what I would do there is leave that, let it go, see how it goes. If you're not getting any clicks, you need to up the bid. If you're getting lots of clicks and it's spending loads of money, you need to either get rid of that or you need to bring the bids down, okay? And then it's all a testing game, okay? It's all a testing game. You'll notice here you've got exact, phrase and broad, okay? So they're exactly what they say. The exact is exactly, if we type in baby cloths, only people that are typing in the exact baby cloths, that is going to show up if we deselect these other two. And then obviously you would have to get rid of phrase and broad there now because we've already selected them. If you type in phrase and get rid of exact, any phrases, okay, any phrases that come up there, you know, baby clothing for, you know, baby cloths for, let's say baby cloths USA, for example, it's probably going to come up because you've got the phrase in there, okay? And then you've got broad. So if people type in baby, for example, baby clothes, or just baby, it might come up with baby cloth still. So all of these different things, I would never recommend actually putting them in the exact same campaign. I would personally always have a separate campaign for exact, phrase and broad, just because the results are going to vary, okay? Once again, we'll get into some more advanced stuff in future videos. Let me know if you want me to create them. Moving on here, down here, just got to take 1 second just to show you my the sponsor for this video, just 20 seconds, and that is actually Awesome here. So there is a link below. You can get £110 off any plan. They're an accounting company I've been using, or 2 months free accounting. Also, if you wanted to just start your business or close to hitting the VAT threshold, they've got some really awesome deals here, pardon the pun, where you can actually open your company and get the bank set up for literally like 12 quid, and then there's a 2 months free accounting link there if you need it. So I just want to run over that quickly because they've been kind enough to sponsor this video for you. Anyway, back to the video here. So notice down here, you'll also notice the negative keyword targeting. Ignore this to start with when you're setting up the campaign. This is where sort of the automatic targeting, and this is where sort of like as you go, what I mentioned up there, the longer these campaigns are running, the more you're going to see the bad keywords that you don't want, that just don't give you any sales or very little sales, got really high ACOS, and then they were munching up your budget. Potentially you would put them into the negative keyword targeting, but ignore that to start with initially when you're setting up the campaign, unless you know much more advanced stuff about PPC and you know what you're doing. But in the early days, I'll just leave that alone because we haven't got enough data to enter that yet. Notice down here you've got the campaign bidding strategy here. So you've got dynamic bids down only. So this means that Amazon will only lower bids, it won't up them. So if you put £5 as your budget, it's not going to eat any more than that. Dynamic bids up and down. This means that Amazon will actually have the ability to raise your bids by a maximum of 100%. Now, this is quite dangerous. It can work, obviously, in some certain strategies, some more advanced stuff. I just wouldn't recommend putting that, leaving Amazon to decide if it should be a maximum of 100% increased budget yet. For example, if you bet £2, it might raise that to £4 if it thinks you could get a sale. But it's a risky game because you could munch through your budget really quickly. As I said, doesn't mean it can't be used at some stage, okay? And then you've got fixed bids down here, which means they use the exact bid, any adjustments, okay? I would recommend always doing dynamic bids down only. That means that it's either going to do the exact bid there, just like the fixed bid, or it's going to come down and actually maybe save you money on that click. I would personally always start with that. Once again, there's some more advanced videos in the future I'll do on when you might actually want to use the fixed bids and the dynamic bids up and down. Down here, you've also got the campaign name here. So you'll notice, you're probably thinking, hold on a minute, campaign name? I thought we put the campaign name. No. So that was the ad group name up there, okay? And then the campaign name is different down here. This is for the campaign. So you should have your portfolio, you'll have your campaigns, okay? Within the campaigns, you've got your ad groups. So whatever you need that campaign to be, okay, that is what I would put in there, okay? Very similar to the ad group. Okay, that's just what I do. And then down here, just the basic stuff here. So you've got the start date here, which you can click, and then the end date there. Make sure you don't let these campaigns run away from you. If you put a budget on there, okay, with a daily budget maximum of £10 there, it's going to run away with you if you don't keep track of it. Amazon will never stop munching up your money for PPC. Make sure you're tracking this, or make sure you put an end date in there so that you don't lose this. And the case of this, guys, is then once we've launched that campaign, it is then a case where we monitor these results, monitor it, start raising bids, lowering bids, start putting negative keywords that aren't working into the negative keywords section up here. There's a lot more advanced stuff that you need to do once you're monitoring this, but the end goal is you've got to decide it is what's the reason. I would leave with this, okay? What's the reason for you setting up this campaign? Is it a launch strategy where you're not that worried about the money that you spend as long as you rank a product, therefore you have a very different attitude towards the money that you spend on this? Or is it a regular maintenance campaign, in which case you need to keep very careful of your ACOS and make sure that you're not spending tons and tons and tons, or even more than what you're making on the product, okay? Both of these strategies have different ACOS in mind that are acceptable and which are not. As I say, let me know below if you want me to do more advanced video on all this stuff, and I will see if I can do that for you guys. So I will see you in the next video. Thanks very much for watching, and yeah, good luck. Let me know if you've got any questions below.